them to sell indulgences. You can go to the notary, appointed by Rome, pay him a big hunk of gold, and he can give you a get out of jail free card, blessed by the Pope. Because Henry VIII had a row with the Pope because they say it was because he wouldn't let him marry 8 wives, but it wasn't that at all. At that time, the Roman Catholic Church owned half the land in England. And the English were basically slaves on their own land. Henry VIII ended that, and that's why the English loved him and fought like tigers to keep him as their English king. So that's the story behind it, and that's when he told the notaries to go hop and said, if you're going to pay gold for indulgences, you pay it to me. And he said, much profitable to the king. So you've got a bit of history there. A notary is a very old office. It's been around since the 4th century. Every village in Europe has a notary. If you have a formal agreement, you want it sealed with the sovereign seal, you took it to the notary. The notary put his seal on it, that red, round, flashy bit that they use, and that was then admissible in any court to prove that what that document says is absolutely correct. So if you get yourself certified as a Commonwealth public official, and that's pretty careful, pretty powerful document, and we haven't got time tonight to explain it all, but yeah.
Use that in a court. If say I've got a court next week, magistrates court next month. If I took that and I want to challenge the jurisdiction or anything, by telling them I'm a public official, what would they do?
I think they'd probably reach for the box of accents.
This was put to the Supreme Court of Victoria about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and the judge ordered the prosecutor to investigate the office that this individual, the defendant, was claiming, which was a Commonwealth public official, and to indicate to the court when it was ready, that when the prosecutor was ready with his answer, to reconvene the court. Well, we're still waiting.
It's a bit like Mr. O'Brien's waiting for his day in court to be when the computers come up again.
Queensland Supreme Court's also had a lot of problems with somebody claiming, first and foremost, that they were a Commonwealth public official and therefore they were owed by duty the right to be heard in a court that complies strictly with the Constitution. And this gentleman actually, he had taken Peter Beattie, the ex-premier of Queensland, to court for breaching the sections of the Local Government Act. So this does have impact, and it is having impact all around the country, in every state, when people claim that they are a Commonwealth public official. So this isn't a waste of time. Peter and I, when we drafted that one page back in about 2005,
it's been around a while.
It has been challenged by the Department of Public Prosecutions, and there was a 2-page letter put to Peter and I threatening us with all sorts of breaches of the law, and then Peter and I wrote back and we said, excuse me, but we pointed out the exact points of law that appear on the document, and we got a reply from that individual's boss. There was a 2-line letter apologising to us for their colleagues'
indiscretion.
So it has got standing, and we can use this quite effectively.
Well, Friday last, this was challenged by a senior sergeant in the County Magistrates Court, and he's asked me to show proof, so I just showed this to him. And he said, "What's your name?" He said, "I want your name and address right now." I said, "This is me." And he's looking at me all the time. I said, "This is me." He said, "No, what's your name?" I said, "This is me." And he looked at it and started to take it down. I said, "Are you obstructing me in the course of my duty?" The next thing you know, he the book got closed, and away he went. Simple as that.
The only thing that I could suggest that would improve it is a passport-sized photo attached to it, and that would improve it, because they're using them then in place of licences, because if an Australian federal copper can go anywhere he likes, so can you.
Yeah.
In fact,
Peter, would it be appropriate to have that letter sent to us with the email and the answer?
In fact, if you're challenged on this, you don't, by law, the law clearly states that you don't have to explain yourself. It's enough for you to say that you're a Commonwealth public official, and that's it.
So what qualification do you need to acknowledge on this?
You need to know what's in it.
It's written on the form itself here.
yeah, it's written on there.
It's already written
So
there.
anyone can have one?
Anybody can have one.
Anyone can have one. In fact, under section 149 of the Commonwealth Criminal Code Act, it says obstruction of a Commonwealth public official.
Oh, 10
A
years.
person is guilty of an offence if the person knows that another person is a Commonwealth public official, and the imprisonment there is 2 years. For somebody
That sort of
who
ruin any constable's career.
Yeah. So very much.
There's a lady down the back's got a question for you.
Will we be educated as to our rights and what we can enforce as a Commonwealth public official?
Yeah, well, the rights that are written on the document, we make sure that anyone that does take this on, past experience has taught us that if you're not knowledgeable of what this entails, then please don't walk that path. But it means that you have the power to prosecute when you see a breach of Commonwealth law. Okay.
Now this could half abolish the Income Tax Act, but
Yeah. So, yep.
half abolish. Well, because if you see a man breaking the law,
Peter, you've got to do conversations.
Yeah, right.
Will there be any tutoring, any classes on how to enforce it?
Well-
Once we get our certificate,
yes, sir.
Yes, I have. Yeah, I have been asked about this, and yes, it comes back to time now. The other day when we were at court, some people who were with me, we had a discussion after, and we came to the conclusion, and quite rightly so, that this group has been running for a number of years, and in one sense is a bit out of sync. It's not directed, it's not controlled properly, and I agree. There's a lot of pressure on myself. I spend basically from when I get home in front of my computer answering emails until I'm really lucky if I get to bed before 11:30. So I've got a lot of people that have queries, and I do my darndest to solve all of those at the best of my ability. But what we've come up with is an idea regarding an association and delegation of jobs. So we can best then spread the knowledge that Peter, myself, Kelvin and others have, and spread that knowledge in a way that benefits everybody, and we're able to bring about an effective change that groundswell then can walk out and say, yes, I'm behind this association, and we are determined. And we are determined to follow the letter of the law and make sure that those in government do as well.
Yeah.
And this is the only way I feel that we're going to be able to get out there. So between now, we don't have a meeting in December. There's only one more meeting in Ashburton for the year, and that is next month. We're going to be calling for people who want to become part of that core group to volunteer. There's a gentleman who's experienced in this matter, who will be directing us, and he has already emailed us some forms that I've gone over and do make a lot of sense. The system will take more notice of us when we show ourselves as a organised group.
Yes.
And
Not a corporate body.
yeah, well, we're not going to fall into the trap of becoming part of the system. We must not do that, and our focus is purely on Commonwealth law and what our rights mean, and those rights must be adhered to at all levels, and especially in our courts. So our focus is strong.
Sorry, right? You forgot one thing, it's not for profit association.
Yes, it's a not-for-profit association.
Anybody who would want to be in it, obviously they're not going to get paid.
That's right. We're not here to make money out of this. Any monies that are put into that association will go towards the expansion of that association. At the Dana meetings, we hold it at a hotel, and we use my own projector and other equipment. Now, that sort of equipment needs maintenance, and the funds will go towards those sort of things, printouts, and also for what we've been asking for earlier is classes specifically for the Commonwealth public official. So it'll all be above board, and I think this is the most constructive way to take this group and instill more confidence in the general public. Do I have your support?
Yes.
In that sense?
You need a venue to have those classes, but we can provide so much already.
Well, this is something that the association will look at as far as venues. Now, this venue is getting to a point where it's almost too small. We'd love it to expand. We'd love to put 3, 4, 5 times as many people and put this message out in a very constructive way. So this is will be one of the focus points of this group, to do that, and also promotion of the group, and saying to not only here in Melbourne but throughout Australia, because I am getting inquiries from all over the country. This is why I'm in front of the email so much. But we are having an effect. We are having an effect. I saw that myself the other day in the court. We are having an effect. So, and for that group that protested in Melbourne the other day, they are having a meeting tonight, unfortunately. Some of them would have loved to have been here, because what we know, they need to know. It is crucial. Section 28 of the Crimes Act 1914 is a must-know for these people. The other day on the news it was said that
Section 28.
28 of the Crimes Act 1914, the police said on the news the other day that they respected the rights of the protested to protest, but their time was up. Well, that's wrong. There is no time restriction on Section 28.
Which Crimes Act is that?
1914. Okay, and there's a 3-year jail term for anyone that hinders anyone in their political protest.
3 times 4.
This is the section that I put to a barrister. He put it to the Supreme Court in Queensland, and they let Pauline Hanson out next day. That's how good it is.
Pretty good.
It does work.
Could I say that one very important task once there's more people actively working as a core, is to bring out a listing of the things that you give us every time